Oh, hey there. So I'm reading through Daniel again, and people keep asking me to kind of explain some things. Now, I want to just start off by saying that when Daniel had this dream, and you can read this in the Bible, he says, I was exhausted for several days, and he was appalled by the vision because it was beyond his understanding. This is a guy that was blessed with the capability to interpret dreams all the time. And he was like, it's exhausting. Nevertheless, I'm going to tell you a couple things, okay? So, first of all, you read about these beasts and all the scary looking stuff, and you're like, I've never seen anything like that. That sounds like monsters. And so you're like, I don't even know this is real. Like, what are you talking about? It's a bunch of nonsense. Unless you realize that this is kind of code for governments, okay? Now, let me tell you what I'm talking about. First of all, Nebuchadnezzar has a dream, and there is a huge statue, and it's got a gold head, and it's got a chest that's silver, and it's got a waist that's bronze, and it's got legs that are iron, and then it's got feet that are iron mixed with clay. And he's like, I don't know what any of this means. And he talks to Daniel, and Daniel says, look, these are kingdoms, okay? And as time has passed, it's very plain, and it really lines up. The gold head is Babylon, okay? The silver chest is Medo-Persia. The bronze waist is Greece, the iron legs are Rome, and iron mixed with clay is Europe divided, okay? So you can do some more research into that, but just so that you don't get confused by that. Now, it talks about 4 beasts, okay? One of these is a winged lion. This represents Babylon for a lot of reasons. The next one is a bear. He's got 3 ribs in his mouth, and one side is raised up, okay? This is Medo-Persia. And the reason why is because the 3 ribs in its mouth is 3 empires that it had to conquer to come into power. And then it's raised up on one side because eventually it was the Medes and the Persians, and the Persians got the leg up and they kind of ruled more, okay? Took over. The next one is a leopard that has 4 wings and 4 heads. And you're like, I've never seen that anywhere in life. Good Lord, look at all these things. Lots of planes. I guess we're getting attacked. Nevertheless, hopefully that is passed. Nevertheless, what could be faster than a leopard, which is very fast, with wings? Faster, okay? So this represents the fact that Alexander the Great swept across Europe and Asia. I mean, like lightning speed, and just conquered it. And if you know anything about Alexander the Great, he was just... it was like he came out of the womb like, I have to dominate the world, and that's what's going to happen, okay? So he did. He went from Greece and took Europe and Asia, and I think he got to India, and he died of something, malaria, or it was something relatively petty that he died of. I forget what it was right now. Nevertheless, when he died, his 4 generals divided the kingdom of Greece, okay? And the Greek Empire was a big deal, but those are the 4 heads of the leopard. Now, the next one, this next beast has huge iron teeth, and this represents Rome. And when you start to notice that, like, oh, this all does line up, this is governments. And when Daniel is going through this, he goes, I was exhausted. And the angel's like, calm down, write down these words, but this is for the distant future, okay? When he wrote that, it was the distant future. I don't know if you know this, but he wrote that in about 603 BC. It's been some time. Right now, that's the distant past to us, which makes us his distant future. Most of these things have happened, okay? We are definitely in the end times. Everybody's like, oh, I'm waiting for the end times. I'm like, you're in the end times. Look around you. You're looking at the wrong things. You think, oh, I'm looking for some giant beast that's coming out. The giant beast is the government. It's whichever government we're in right now, okay? And what's gonna happen is that somebody is gonna, I don't wanna say that yet. The good news is that at the end of all this, okay, and Jesus says this, in Daniel it says this, in Revelation it says this, that all these kings and kingdoms, all these governments come up and they conquer and they kill and they destroy and they ravage the earth, okay? Because that's what they do. But in the end, those are all conquered by Jesus, and we live in peace. And that is what we're looking forward to. So don't get too caught up in like, oh, all these bad things are going to happen, and what am I going to do, and how am I going to survive? Am I going to go dig a hole and live in the hole or whatever? Calm down. The good news is we win in the end. Okay. The good news is that Jesus brings peace back to the earth. Get right with God. It's going to be okay for you. You may die. You may get tortured. You're probably going to go through some bad things. We all will. That's part of life. You're going to go through bad things one way or the other. You might as well be on the winning side when it happens, so that when all this passes, which it will pass, on the other side of this pain is heaven. Love you guys.